And now timeout taken again.
Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of the Final Timeout, which is an NFL and college football themed podcast. I'm here with my friend John from college. We both go to Syracuse. John, say what's up.
What's up, guys? Glad to be doing this. Hope everyone's doing okay.
So basically, this first theme of the episode is going to be NFL themed. Obviously, as we all know, the Super Bowl just happened. A lot of news to cover from that. Starting with news from the best player in the league, Patrick Mahomes, just announced that he's getting toe surgery. We know that he was hurt in the Browns game. Also suffered what we thought was a concussion there. Passed the protocol, played the next week. Don't know if that affected him in the Super Bowl, but we know that toe is injured and is getting surgery.
Yeah, that was something I heard about during the game, which I didn't even know about. I knew about the concussion issues he had, but I didn't even know about the toe thing. And to be honest with you, Tim, I couldn't really tell. You know, he was really a big part of what their offense was, getting out of the pocket and running. I would have liked to see Kansas City have some more designed runs for him, but whatever. I thought he looked fine, but I think this will be good for him in the offseason. You know, get to 100%. The concussion thing must have been fine because he played. So I think, you know, whatever it is with the toe, get that dealt with. It's all good. There's no, like, big things here where it's an injury that's going to derail his career. Just get it fixed. You got the time, so get it done.
Yeah, I mean, he looked fine enough to be out there in the Super Bowl, so this surgery should just be to fix a little thing that they thought might be tweaked. But, I mean, we'll start off here with recapping the Super Bowl. What kind of went wrong? Both teams, or the Bucs started with the ball, punted. I believe Chiefs punted, Bucs punted. Chiefs finally got a field goal. And we thought it would be somewhat of a low-scoring game. We thought eventually both teams might pick it up. But, I mean, Kansas City never got a chance to, put the ball in the end zone. So why do you think that?
Well, Tim, I was expecting a high-scoring game. Two high-powered offenses. I know the Bucs defense is good, but today's day of football, it favors the offense. The first matchup had some fireworks. I was very surprised with how well the Bucs defense played. And I think the one thing to take away from this game, there was one stat I saw, and I tweeted this too, at John_Eads3. 82% of snaps, Tampa Bay was in too high safety coverage, right?
Oh,
yeah. Guess how many times Kansas City ran the ball? 17 times.
Yeah,
not a lot. 17 times. Now, that doesn't include Mahomes, taking off. Maybe it does. But whatever the case, 17 touches. You give 9 to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, your first-round pick, your bell cow back. He has 9 carries for 64 yards. That's inexcusable. I bet you Tampa Bay watched every second of the film from that first matchup, and they found ways to stop the Kansas City offense. Now, Kansas City, they had no answers for the Bucs defense, and the score really reflects that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got not only Clyde, but you have Le'Veon Bell, who I know might not have gotten a chance to get used to that offense. But you look at Clyde, 9 rushes, 64 yards, had an almost 30-yard run at one point, got tackled, I think, out on the sideline. He almost broke it, but I think you got to look at the fact they only ran it 17 times because that first Bucs touchdown just put them down the whole game. They never got a chance to get back into it. So they forced Mahomes to throw 49 times, and Todd Bowles was just sitting back. They were doubling Tyreek. They had those high safeties. And, I mean, Kelsey was doing his thing. You expected one of them to do their thing. But, I mean, Kelsey's going to get those 10 to 13 yards. Can't stop that. You can take away Tyreek if you need to. So that's exactly what they did. But besides that, we've got to talk about how Brady, the greatest of all time, attacked this Chiefs defense. What do you think he did?
Well, I got to start off by saying I am a Michigan fan, so Brady's obviously a favorite of mine. Now, I didn't when he was at Michigan, I wasn't even born yet. So I've kind of just developed the fandom from him. I'm not like a Patriots or Bucs fan. I'm more of a college guy, honestly. But again, I like Tom Brady. What he's done to this game is just unbelievable. A lot of people said, he was a system quarterback. He's a game manager quarterback. No, I mean, he went to Tampa Bay, and they just built around him. They gave him all the weapons he needs, even through Gronk in there. And he looks spectacular. So I don't know. I mean, the rings speak for themselves. I don't think you can doubt Tom Brady or the fact that he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, national football player of all time.
Yeah, growing up a Colts fan, I always had my little beefs here and there with Tom Brady. I was a big Peyton guy. Always
Yeah.
loved the argument, but I mean, seven is where you draw the line. It's just an impossible number to reach at that point. And I mean, it's always a team game, but he's the quarterback for 7 teams that have won a Super Bowl. So, got to give credit to him.
I never really answered your question. How did he attack the Chiefs' defense?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He played mistake-free football, and I bet you he was in there watching the film with the coaches. This dude, when he loses a game, he's the ultimate competitor. He's going to come back. He's going to right that wrong. And it really didn't help that Tyrann Mathieu was barking in his face. I mean, you do not want to get this guy going. He made him pay. Look, no interceptions. He just looked like a competent quarterback out there. He was taking advantage of the matchups. And I think Rob Gronkowski was probably the X factor in this game. 6 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he played smart football. Even when there were some passes he threw that the receivers, didn't get, they were spectacular. So you never really put the ball in harm's way, and you got to give credit to Leonard Fournette too. He had a hell of a game. Really compliments him well.
Yeah, going into the half, Brady had 3 touchdown passes, 4 incompletions. I mean, you give Tom Brady 2 weeks to study for the Super Bowl, he's going to get it done. He had lost to Spagnuolo twice. I don't think he wanted to lose the 3rd time to Spagnuolo. So he studied up. He knew what they were going to do.
I think he set a record, too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you heard this. He had 80% completion percentage and 3 touchdowns. I think that's a Super Bowl record for the first half or the first quarter. No one's ever done that before. So, I mean, just throw that on there, too. Why not?
Yeah, breaking records. That's what he does, man. I when it was getting time to announce the Super Bowl MVP, I thought it was going to be Gronk, Brady had won his. He'd been there. Gronk played fantastic last year he was probably chilling on a yacht, just getting hammered with his buddies. But, now here he is back in the Super Bowl. 2 touchdowns, looked phenomenal, and he's coming back. How do you feel about that?
It was awesome. It was almost as if ESPN made a movie, and this is how Brady to Gronk for 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl on a different team. That's a storybook ending. It was spectacular. Gronk, it wasn't just he was cherry picking. He was finding ways to get open. He looked like a dominant player. That second touchdown he had, where he kind of just rerouted himself, that's straight chemistry. That's Tom and Gronk playing for years on years, and it was awesome to watch. Super fun. I think they both have some years left to play for sure. Now Gronk, he's made all the money he needs. He's kind of living right now, but it's kind of cool how he can just flip a switch and retire and then come back and just be dominant again. I mean, it's just awesome. But if I could go back to the MVP thing, I know this isn't how it works, and the same with the Heisman. I wish this happened. The MVP trophy should have gone to the entire Bucs defense and the Bucs D coordinator. I mean, you hold KC to 9 points. That's just unbelievable.
I mean, that was Mahomes' lowest QBR of his career. I think you've got to look at the O-line not being there. I think that's the first thing you look at. That and Todd Bowles' defensive game plan, which was executed perfectly. You got to give credit to them. But you've also got to feel bad for Patty. Fisher out, Schwartz out, and their starting center had COVID. So missing 3 of his starters, did all he can. Those pictures of him midair, just throwing across his body 30 yards, just hitting people in the helmet. I mean,
unbelievable.
I mean, you hit someone in the helmet, they've got a chance to catch it. So
at the Elite 11, you get extra points for hitting someone in the helmet. So that's a ball you got to catch. You can't throw it any better than hitting somebody in the helmet. So.
All right. Let's just talk about, seven Super Bowls. How hard will that right now people are going to talk about Mahomes can never be the GOAT. It would have been a great discussion if it was 6-2. Now it's 7-1. Mahomes, we all know that talent he has. My opinion, he's top 3 talent-wise. We haven't seen someone like him. He's going to continue to do it. He's going to continue to make Super Bowls. But 7, I think, is a very unreachable number just because nothing's promised. You're not promised tomorrow in the NFL. You can break your leg, anything could happen. So what are your, not goals, but what do you see Mahomes doing with the rest of his future? He's got that 10-year contract. Where do you see him getting to? How many Super Bowls?
Well, the big thing with Tom is it's not like he's played 7 seasons. He's played for a long. He's taken care of his body. He's done the things he's needed to do in the offseason. He hasn't gotten in any trouble. Like, those are the big things. You're not going to go to 7 straight Super Bowls and win them. I mean, Buffalo went to 4 straight. They lost all 4. That was nuts. But you're not going to go to 7 straight. So the big thing for Pat is he's got to take care of himself. He is a high character guy. He's a leader. So I don't think he's going to get in any issues off the field, but he's got to take care of his body. These little injuries right here, you got to take care of him like he is if you want to play a long time in this league. Now the question will be, how long can the Chiefs continue to build around him? Obviously you got the salary cap and all of these things. So how long can they continue to put great players around him? And at some point, are they going to have to send him to somebody else like the Lions had to do with Stafford? That'll be the question, I think. But greatness only happens, greatness is so rare. That's why it's greatness. That's why we consider some players better than others. So, I really don't think he's going to get to 7. I don't know if anybody ever is going to win 7 Super Bowl rings the way Tom Brady has. And he's not done. He might not be done.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to talk about next. You got to look at this NFC. I mean, Drew Brees, we're expecting with that Saints cap space, they're negative $1 million in cap space. They can't really work it out. He would have to come back on a vet minimum. But I'm still expecting Brees to retire. Rodgers' future is still up in the air. We expect him to be back. I mean, Russell Wilson, he's got a fire under him. He wants to go win another Super Bowl. But, I mean, you look at the NFC, and the Bucs are the best team in the NFC.
There's so many – I cannot wait for this offseason for both college football and the NFL. There's so many storylines that we're going to attack, Tim. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers and just so many other – the free agent signings, teams rebuilding. I just can't wait to get into this. Today was super fun, though. Nice to recap the Super Bowl. A lot of people said it was a bad game. I enjoyed watching it. I really did. Especially, obviously, if you just look at the box score, it didn't look like a good game, but it was back and forth. Mahomes made those insane passes. If one of the receivers comes up with those, who knows? Maybe it's a different game.
Exactly. The game ended at halftime, I would say. 21-6, you give Brady 15-point lead. You're not winning, I don't think. And over with. That's how it turned out to be. We would like to thank you guys for watching. We're going to try and do 3 episodes a week. Record Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, upload Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and just cover breaking news, college football, NFL. We look forward to it. Description, we'll have both our Twitter handle and the podcast Twitter. And who knows, might make a little Instagram if we want. Who knows? But,
Sir, leave a sub, baby.